Coming to you today. See how you are. Um, we're coming at you live today on this Thursday. It could be Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, could be Thursday night, could be Friday morning. Depends on where you are in the world. Glad to see you. Coming to you for a little while. Put this thing on real quick. See what we got. I may not be on tomorrow, but I'm going to be on today. Anyway, poll question is pretty simple. Bobby Brown came out and said that he thinks that. Let me know if you happen to be live. Let me know if you agree with that. We are live. Let's see what we got. We are live today. We're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. We're gonna see what happens. I'll be on for a little while today. I know it's a holiday weekend for some. Some people are celebrating, some aren't. So we'll take that all in consideration. And we're going to be on for a minute. So hope everybody's going good today. Yeah, what did I think about Chris Brown? I mean, it's comical to me. If you're over 45, you can't say that. What's happening? How you doing? I'm not buying you saying it. If you're under 35, I'll let you get away with a pass on it because you didn't catch Michael Jackson in his totality. Thank you so much. Glad to see you. Appreciate you. And thank you. Where are you coming from today, if you don't mind me asking? I like that. That's a cool name. Okay. Where are you coming from today, if you don't mind me asking? What's happening? How you doing? How you doing? Oh, it's good. Please continue to hit those likes and the subscribes and the poll, and please come through and let me know what's up with you. What's happening? What's happening? I was thinking somebody's gonna come through. Didn't happen. What's up? Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. What's up? Thank you for coming through. Yes. Good. Good. How you doing? I'm on here for at least an hour. Yeah. If he, if they asked him to be like I mean, like to be like Drew Holiday, duh. How was your way work so far? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. 30 points, 30 wins, and you're Cancun in April. That's how it's worked. But then again, he is a stat pattern, so he plays for every point he scores is for a win. I got it. Got it. Got it. Yeah, because remember when I did that video where that turkey came out talking about if I had played last year, we would have won 60 games. I was like, I'm like, he refused to be traded. He, they were dumb. But then again, look at them. And they stuck with Jordan Poole, who getting booed. Because I don't know if you watch any Wizards game. I hope not. They Tubi time, by the way. If you have a slow night on Tubi time, Wizards basketball games are always. But anyway, I turned that one game on where he got booed with 5 minutes to go, and I'm like, y'all can't boo nobody. By the way, don't you kind of feel sorry for Chris Middleton? Oh boy, you went from the penthouse to the outhouse. I mean, dang. Kyle Kuzma's feeling good because look at what you stuck with when Bradley Beal wants to hold you hostage. I mean, like that. I mean, who's Bradley Beal? Who's Bradley Beal? What's happening? How you doing? Depends on who he play for. Depends on how they play him. I'll give you examples. There was Troy Brown with New England. Dion did it in situations with most of his career. Troy Brown did it. Rod Woodson did it. Yeah, if you got a name, not some buster, not some bum, shoot. You know, it depends on who you are and who you play for. And if Travis Hunter's got some star quality, then he can pull it off. But if he get hurt on one side, he's gonna be a one sider. I don't know, and I hope he don't go to Tennessee or something. Rod Woodson was doing kickoff returns and playing in his secondary. Yeah, look at there's a video of him running back a kickoff return for a touchdown. He did a 75 yarder. Yeah, yeah, Rod did. Rod could burn too. Rod had burn in him. Yeah, yeah. That was about what was it about over 30 years ago? Yeah, it was a game he ran one back. Mm-hmm. Daryl Green did too. Daryl Green sometimes would do punt returns because he did against Chicago in '87. I mean, cats that could smoke, you gotta let them do a back and forth. So, um, I'll go back further than that for you if you want to know. A guy named George Blanda in the '60s and the '70s, who was a quarterback, a kicker, and he played longer than Brady and LeBron. George Blanda played till he's like 48 for the Raiders. Look him up. If you ain't heard it, you know it. You know what the problem with that is though? They did that for the All Star game. That's how Yao Ming got all them votes over Shaq. That's how some busters had like 10-year All Stars and they because they were fans. That's the reason. They're never gonna go back. Adam Silver is a mad scientist. He's not gonna let that happen. It's not geared for the fans. None of it is because there's too much money in analytics and there's too much money in digital. it's a business now. You can't really even root for nobody because everybody wants to be all buddy with everybody. Everybody want to sit down with everybody. Everybody want to smile and grin and shuffle with everybody. It's not the same. It's not the same. Unless of course you're a baseball fan. If you're a Giants fan, you go to Dodger Stadium, you might get got. But some of these other situations, no. Well, he brought a lot of that on himself. He brought a lot of that on himself. I mean, does she ever hear some of his interviews where he just comes across like he's a male content? He's just frustrated. And he don't like nobody, and he don't like nothing. And I'm like, what we supposed to do with this? You're supposed to be one of the best players of your generation. And even when Skip Bayless tried to stand up for you, like you don't know about basketball, you suck. And I'm like sulking and mad. You know, I mean, and to a lot of people, he gonna come across like a double broke junior whopper LeBron because he went and followed what LeBron did, and it didn't work in Brooklyn. Yeah, he had another ring right now. They'd probably be saying some stupidness that don't say nothing crazy. Please don't say that. Well, look who he played against too. I mean, come on now. He is better than Josh Giddey, and he's better than Kobe White put together. Let's not get it crazy. And he has been playing a minute. He's not a fresh chicken out the water, so he has been playing. It's just that I'm not buying him. He ain't gonna more. I wish he did turn to Jerry West. If Andrew Wiggins has any ounce of credibility, then this is where he could be dangerous because no one is paying attention. You know how I feel about him. I saw Two Raw got that video. I did my video. I don't. You know what I said in my video? I said Chicago and Sacramento. A reason why I don't like playing tournament. If Kyrie was playing, yes. If they had another guard, then yes. But I don't know. I think that's asking too much. Yeah, I didn't have to because I saw the title on it. But this the thing. He's a Chicago Bulls fan, and I didn't have to because I know I already said Billy Donovan. I did my video earlier, and I said Florida just won a national championship. He should have kept his butt in Florida because he sucked in OKC and he sucks in Chicago, and they got too much firepower to be so mediocre. So he's a problem. If AD, if the, but see this the thing, AD could be. I like AD if he can stay healthy. But I say next year, not this year. I don't trust them playing tournament teams. I know Miami went to the finals. That ain't gonna happen every day, so don't get excited. I saw, the Bulls are just a mess. They got nothing but an auction team, just like Sacramento. Those ain't nothing but auction teams. Memphis is an auction team. If I call you an auction team, he should have retired like 4 years ago. I mean, I like his commentary was cool, but he been around for like 88 years. I mean, but can't get excited because Dallas beat Sacramento though. If John Morant is not playing, that's a different ball game. Clay looked good last night. I mean, the only problem is how many games of Clay can you get though? I wish he was in a better situation because they need another scorer and they need a couple pieces off the bench. If they had that and AD was healthy, then I'd say they could be a problem. Well, it's all part of supremacy. Anything that's on the streets is all bucking, because you obviously got to do a disadvantage to your community. So they all tied together. Think about it. They miss him, But I don't know if they were gonna shock the world. I ain't gonna say nothing crazy because I don't think they better than OKC, and I don't think that they necessarily come out. Yeah, you have you been watching Charleston White? Cause sound like I gotta stop you for a moment because that sound like stuff Charleston White be. I be watching, and I don't agree with most of what he says because he sold out, he bought and paid for. It's all connected though. The thing about it is that they were bought and paid by an administration to get those so-called streets, and that's what happened. Yeah, I seen Sean James too, but Charleston gets all the juice though because he's the inside snitch. He be going back and forth, and I can't think of that other dude. He be funny too. I can't think of him. He always wears the Dallas Cowboy hats. He did a prison time. He is funny. He be talking crazy. I can't think of him. But anyway, um, yeah, I mean all that stuff is sellouts. It's all sellouts. When I watch Ice T talking about he got to go check in LA, I'm like, check in. Man, look, that's the kind of stuff that's backwards. Check in like that. That's on some back. That shows you what's going on, which is wrong. I saw about the judge because it is self defense, and I've caught it on my videos. I caught some people asking me how you know. I said because he got bullied. I said, but you know what? I said just like Zimmerman. Why can't you buy it at the kid? I said because this is actually a peer. George Zimmerman was a full grown man against Trayvon Martin. This is actually a peer to peer, same age range. Why not it believable? And they can't say nothing about that. I said, yeah, this is a peer. Two 18-year-olds, two 17-year-olds. This ain't like a guy that's 38 and some kid that's 16. There's a big difference. But y'all ain't had no problem for that. So, yeah, stand your ground. Don't get mad at me. Yeah, because he got the bag and he's got support. And Sean Charleston White talking about, well, it's not racial. I said, yes, it is, yo. Stop with the cap. Cats always trying to act like, oh, well, no, it is. Because 10 times out of 9, there was some words exchanged, and 10 times out of 9, it was offensive. Okay, keep on hitting this likes up. Let's keep this discussion rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Where you at? Where you at? May 12th is supposed to be the date when they start the case. I saw that. I ain't talk about it. I saw that. He be doing too much. He need to lay low. Um, Jay Z got some more chart. They got some more situations that's been reported, but it's a slow bump with that. If you, I still say Diddy's looking for some black women lawyers. That's the latest I heard. He's looking for some soul sisters to represent him. That's what he's looking for. You can string somebody that can kind of make that case, throw it up enough where it's a little bit off kilt. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. He looking at 15 straight up. That's what I think. But if he butters his bread a certain way, he might catch half of that. All they trying to do is break his pockets. That's all. So if he can get out, probably in 7 or 8 years. That's what I see. Because they're gonna use the time they got him locked up now, and then he can plea. So you gonna get 12 more, or you gonna try to get home in 8, maybe 5. That's what the deal is about. Yeah, I heard about Bootsy, but he gotta watch what he's doing. He's doing too much. What's so funny? What was funny? Ooh, Puffy. That's a good question too, by the way, Puffy. Because R. Kelly need them to almost flip it, and they didn't really offer him no real. Yeah, yeah. They didn't really offer Kills because Kills ain't got that kind of bag. Diddy got the bag. Diddy when and plus he's got video and all that stuff. Now you ask me who should get out first would be R. Kelly because it ain't the half as deep as Diddy. Well, he been eating. I saw some picture of him. He is a big dude usually, but he. Well, you saw that picture too. He cut that song that he was on that track with Breezy. Still got that. He still got his voice. Still me making music. Yeah, he should get out before Diddy because his case ain't even the strength as Diddy. Diddy's situation is far worse, but this ain't what it's about. When they put a RICO on you, that's at least 15. If I was doing it in accordance to what I actually think, Kale should get out in about 5 years because that'd be like 10. Diddy should be looking at about 15. Well, it's commissary, money on your books, and yeah, cats, if they don't work out. So I did a video on that, but you haven't seen my video. I addressed that, and I called that the Chris Bosh diss track. And I called him out on that stupidity. Because if it wasn't for Chris Bosh was the X factor for every LeBron move. If you think about it, it was always the third man that was the man that made LeBron's situation work. And it took a versatile big to make all the situations work. We go with Chris Bosh, we go with Kevin Love, and then we go to Anthony Davis. So you have what we call tweener forwards, and those guys came up big in all of those runs. Bosh was getting the short end of the stick. Oh, he is fake. I'm rooting for the Rockets because everybody's hating. I got. I'm gonna tell you something. If anybody can coach a team up as Udoka, and I don't think Golden State's that good. I think that if you decide, the last time they played them, they clamped on Curry a bit. Some turkey was on here yesterday talking about Jimmy Butler's the best player on the Golden State team. I had a lengthy discussion with some cat on here. That was hilariously wrong. But I think Houston's got enough to beat them. I really do. I hope they do too. I hope they do. And look, I like Steph Curry a whole lot, but I'm not sold on Golden State. They don't play Kumingas, and I don't think that that's not a championship team. They'd have to do too much sneaking. They're gonna be tough. I'm not gonna say they're not, and they could go 6 or 7. But I'd like to see the Rockets win. I think it's time for new energy. I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. The NBA needs the new. Been stuck with the same, and that shows. So I like the Rockets to win because they're always talking trash. Always. And Curry, don't let the innocent face fool you. He be talking yang behind that mouth guard. No, they got physical with him. He pretty much told him I'm put some wood on you because they were able to bump him. Yeah, they nudged him, and that's how you have to try to throw him off because if he gets going, he gonna cook you. So that's what they have to do. You have to run him in a circle. He's probably one of the hardest players ever to defend because he runs so much on and off the ball. He wears you down. I do too, and I'm pulling for him because he got a bum deal in Boston. But I like Joe Mazzulla, but I still think they owe the Udoka a ring now. But I like Joe Mazzulla. Mazzulla is a good coach. Joe Mazzulla is why people are firing these coaches. I'm telling you, Boston is the quietest. If I told somebody that the Celtics is the winningest franchise in the history, and you looked at this season, you wouldn't believe me because that's the quietest championship team with two of the 15 best players, and the way they play, that gets no love. And Joe Mazzulla's unassuming. He's a funny cat too, but they discipline. And Udoka is showing you he can coach. So think about it. The Rockets were 41-41 last year playing. This year they second seed. So what's that tell you? That's one thing Stephen A. Smith may have gotten right. They're going to win the championship with this squad in a couple of years. And I think they will attract one piece that will be just what takes them over the top because they got a nice young crew. And I do like Jalen Green. I like what they got. So, but yeah, Udoka don't play though. Udoka don't play though. All right, please keep on hitting that poll up. 60% saying they agree with Bobby Brown. Well, you better hope he don't waste him. Um, yeah, well, baseball is still cold. The weather. I don't really put a lot of reading early, as you know, because things are susceptible to change. I mean, you know, they're not going to do that because they want to finish in November, late October. I think they have to get more retractable stadiums. I think that's what we're talking about. I think that's one of the biggest problems. I mean, excuse me. The Padres are the Padres so far. I mean, you know, baseball is going to pretty much have the teams you expect, and then we might see a sleeper or two. But I don't really gauge a lot until we get in the All Star break. Because a lot of these teams look like they just kind of there. I know what baseball wants though. They want the Dodgers and the Yankees. I already saw where Aaron Judge is going to be the captain for the world team, and they're making a big deal about that. Staying in the paint on defense because um, hand checking is ticky tack too. You can grab and all that, and they sometimes they don't call. So, but if you stayed in the able to stay in the paint on defense, these guys will get met at the rim. That would be a difference maker, as opposed to pushing in the back and cheap shot fouls. You would really see if someone's got some lift in their behind as opposed to artificial. Then Giannis would be a real beast in that regard. Well, it's been taken over. That's nothing new. So the last what 25 years, what Dodgers got a couple rings, and what the Giants got four. There you go, and the Padres was knocking on the door. So it's been there. I just didn't like the fact they went to the White House, but they owe it. And I saw Kareem outside. I saw Kareem. They have to do that though because they're fighting an endless battle. But Trump was putting down that whole DEI and Jackie Robinson's wife, everything they went through, they've been disrespectful. So they have to. Plus, they need more. They need to. They need to have more black players. That's the problem. I liked everything I've seen out of Dodger Stadium ever since Ice Cube got in part. I like everything because they've been being soulful about it. It's got to be frustrating considering that it's not that long ago. It's not even 80 years ago, and all this unnecessariness. And I know what Jackie Robinson meant to so many. expect? It's the Red Sox. Not exactly the most hospitable. I don't expect nothing out of Boston. They only do it when the camera's on their butt. Other than that, they're not, Again, he'd have been good he had wheels. You saw how he stole home plate. He wasn't afraid. He would have been fine. He was of all around talent. Again, depends on where you go, depends who you play for in your system. You know, it depends on what they know. I'm not gonna say they are because that would be painting a brush. It depends on what era they came up in. But if they sit up there and act like they don't see no racism, they act like they ain't seen nothing being funny, I'm gonna call them out. Just like Yankee fans and Dodger fans and any baseball fan, because until they get a black commissioner and you see black ownerships and situations, and you got more than a couple hands of black men who have won managers or have won World Series, you can't possibly tell me you can't see stuff. Because once we get past Dave Roberts, Dusty Baker, and Cito Gaston, how many other black managers have won World Series? In sports, you know the funny thing about sports that's different because you really can't, but you can do it in music, but you can't in sports. Let me tell you how you can't in sports. Because in sports, I've never had anybody ever say anything like, "Oh, I'm glad they got Dusty Baker." I'm all, they never really. They either have gone out of their way to be against somebody, or don't say nothing. So I never had it in sports. I've had it in music though. Music, I've had it. Music, I've had to deal with that. Hmm. But sports, no, because um, people get quiet on your butt. And Mayo was fired. Which him well, that's a touchy subject because let me tell you something. He was only hired for window dressing, and he couldn't possibly win there. So if you shuffling like if you black and you trying to act like you trying to fit in over the top in white world, and you're trying to make it like you pretty much. If you ever seen the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Carlton Banks, it's a good example. Remember Carlton, and he was perceived that way. He walked real tight. He talked real tight. And he tried. His demeanor was, "Oh, I'm just glad to be," And he changed his speech, his tone, his adaptation to fit in into a world he was not part of. Well, are you familiar with Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court Justice? Goes out of his way to everything that is black related to be opposed to. If you come across people that are black and they go out of their way, always like Jason Whitlock, people that always got a problem with anything black, they never can see no, Stephen A. Smith, he always got something to say about something body black. Somebody white does something, they got to find a way to go, oh, well, it was just the way the frequency was. They never defend their own. That's how you end up shuffling. And you go out of your way to try to appeal to somebody like you're gonna get a cookie and you all bugged out like a dog that's getting a bone and like ooh, 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 because you go out of your way to run from who you are. So there are people that are good examples of it. There are situations that are good examples of it. And it's when people try to downplay who they are because it's no respect because they can't trust them. because they know how racist it is. It's kind of like it's a mental situation. It's like you gotta be kidding. You must think I'm crazy. You up here acting like everything is good and and I know it's not. But I don't like you, and I really don't like you because you don't have no respect for yourself. You going out of your way to try to appeal to me when I don't respect you and I don't like you, and I know what you're doing. And I work with people like that. I did have a work experience with a cat. He went the whole nine. He shuffled and who hauled and ooh and the dude, white dude was like, "Oh, you're a good one," because literally, oh, you don't really see no problems. You don't really. You're not like Max. You're see, and when cats do that kind of banana rapping, it's really over the top. Go out his way. They really go out of their way. Yep. I've had that happen. Hand them bent over backwards, like, oh. Give you a face. Voice changes. Demeanor changes. Kind of like when Robert Griffin III got upset about saying we don't have to make it racial. We don't have to talk about Jackie Run. We don't have to. They go out of their way. Mm-hmm. Or you're not like them. Had that happen a long time ago with a white woman because she gave me a ride, and plus I had conversation. Thank you. Well, you asked, so, and I base it on real life experiences because I've had real life experiences with this, and they like, oh, I feel so comfortable with you. You won't mug me. You don't have to clutch nothing. And then they laugh, but think it's funny. Talk at you crazy. I'm gonna tell you what prepared me for that though. Watching old Richard Pryor, cause Richard Pryor used to talk about it all the time, and I'm like, yeah, cause that's exactly what happens, and feel all comfortable with you and all cozy, and you're not like them, and you don't listen to that rap, and you're like, you know, oh, it's just, you know, it really is, and people don't even check themselves with it, cause they get so comfortable, they'll just, you know, want to look at you like you strange. Just expect because the reality of how they look at you and what comes out, well, they get taught young. he, yeah, because they get preppy. There's a difference between if your mama put on your Sunday best to go to Sunday school or church, and then you get all bougie. He just was dumb. He was dumb. He just one of those cats that's just like Rob Parker said, a cornball brother. I hate to say it, Rob stop, stop locked and zipped him up because that was probably like the most accurate thing someone ever said about somebody at the early part of their career, and it was a fact because he is cornball. He is. First of all, your coach ran your career out before you had a chance to really properly do anything, and second of all, you didn't shuffle for Daniel Snyder, who was one of the worst NFL owners in the history of sports, who had all kinds of freaky deaky things going where he wanted to be like he was a double, triple junior whopper broke version of Jerry Jones with some of that Trump and some of that politician. That's why he got away with what he did. But here you go on TV, RG3. I had a house down the street from Daniel Snyder. And he just doesn't have a balance of conversation. Comes across like an idiot. So yes, people feel sorry for how his NFL career ended, but his shuffling is embarrassing. Who was NFL's Ron Jeremy? Who? 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 When you say that, I'm gonna see what name you mentioned. Let me see who you mentioned. Who? Who? Who was? Ron Jeremy right now, by the way, he's in some state home, by the way. He got out of his not more than Jerry Jones and not more than Jerry Jones, Belichick, not Belichick, Robert Kraft, Robert Kraft, Kraft, Jones. Hmm, I wanted to say Eddie. Oh, I tell you who was one like that was Jack Kent Cook back in the day. Yeah. No, the real there. I don't know if there's an NFL Ron Jeremy. I tell you who the NBA one was though. You know who the NBA one was though? Was Dr. Bus. That was the NBA. That was the Jeremy. I didn't see that. He might have to use her for a prop when they get their butt toe up because I don't know what kind of team he's got. He must be thinking he's like 32 again, picking them up after they freshmen in high college. I don't know. Oh yeah, because they're gonna get their pills lined up because they, that's you never know. That how he could be recruiting. You never know. He a strange cat. Knows his football though. I will give him that because I seen him with Peyton and Eli. He knows his football. I will give him that. He can talk the football with the best of them. His plays and lines. But him personally, he's an eyeball. He's an eye cat. He trying to one up Kraft and Brady too, by the way. Mm. Yep. Hey, the only reason why they didn't get caught like the Cowboys, they had so much other scandal going. It's crazy. I heard about Carolyn Rosenblum, and of course, I remember when Georgia got the ownership. Well, when it comes to NFL owners, it all depends on what your standards is. Because I mean, Eddie DeBarlo was something else with the 49ers. DeBarlo was something else. And Rooney in Pittsburgh, and Hunt in Kansas City, and Ralph Wilson in Buffalo. Yeah, I think he was going to the Rams. I think that's when I did a video about that. He was getting burnt and he wasn't making any loot. And ain't nothing there. And he ain't ready to retire. So he got to go. He had a lot of promise when he first came up, though. And I remember when he first called Josh Allen overrated. You know, he was running his mouth back in the day. He like he was gonna be something till he got burnt and then he got hurt. So, oh, what did he say about her? Oh, probably because Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving were all greeting her. I saw that they gave her a warm reception. That's probably what he don't like. She brother friendly. Probably what he don't like. So Arnell, that's the good example of what we talking about. Don't really think much of it because again, depends on where you go, what team you with, who your coach is. I don't really get excited about drafts. I used to. You asked me in another era, another time, I would have said it was a different deal. It's different now. That goes for any draft. I don't get excited about them because who's your teammates, who's your coach, you know, depends who you're gonna be playing with. Probably yeah. She's got that vibe about her. Got that vibe about her. But I like the way she play. She actually got a better game than Caitlin Clark. She got a better bank shot. She know how to repost. She moves her wheels. Who moves those puppies really good. I watched her movement. and she can ball. So, well, because again, it's because everybody's got hope. I disagree with that. I think she got a more polished game. How about that? What about the fact that she actually plays better than Caitlyn? Caitlyn was mainly known for what? Shooting threes. That's really what it was about. Just range. Paige gives you inside out, post you up, passing game. Got a better game. Oh, you know I don't like that turkey. That old greasy head, Sonny Bono looking jive turkey. Now, oh, so back in the 90s, when the Bills got Lee Evans or something, my homeboy called him up and chewed his behind up because he clowned on our pick. I think it was either that or was it Eric? Was it Eric Moles? Anywhere he chewed, we never could stand him. He think he deeper than what he is. He's no deeper than a Jerry Springer deep thought. He's just a gimmick. He's kind of like the Jim Rome of those kind of cats. That why he still got a gig, I don't know. He might be feeling something. You never know. Body might be feeling kind of funny. There's a lot of reasons. Hey, if you make money off that NIL and you make money, you don't have to put your body through that. I've never cared for Kuiper. I don't like none of them. I don't like none of them so-called guru analysts. Beady-eyed and they lie all the time. Cause it's just like us. We all can say a 50-50 crapshoot. Yeah, but I forgot. My buddy called him up and dissed him because he was hating on us for the draft we made. It was either Lee Evans or it was Eric Moles. It was one of them back then. And my buddy chewed his behind up. If my buddy ever come online, he'll tell you the story. He got in his grill now. We very happy. I never cared for Mel Kiper. He's one of the worst and one of the most overrated. Well, that's another thing too, but that's another thing. Them cats who keep them 30, 50 year gigs on there and they don't have no real extension of nothing. That's how they a lot of them think. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say. I think Cam Ward's gonna get a lot of love. I don't know. Depends on who can sell jerseys and who can sell hype. I can't say. Can't say. I think Cam Ward's got a chance to be the first, but I hope these cats don't end up in Saudi Arabia though. Get drafted by some whack team. That if your Wi-Fi ever goes down, you don't know what happened to them for 5 years. I hope that's not the case. I think he would be. I believe he would be. I mean, when guys play college football today, they're more pro ready because of the system and the styling. So I believe he would be. I don't even discuss that turkey. He is delusional. He is tripping. He stunk the last 4 years, so I don't know what he's smoking because his last two in Green Bay and his last two years have not been memorable. And usually, when you're going down, you're going down. I like it. I think they should get all the money they can get because college ain't nothing but a hustle for the pros. It ain't nothing but pimping, and it's just a lower. It's a minor leagues. It's not even. It's a minor leagues that's always been as a minor league, but yet it's part of major league. And let me explain. College football, all them bowl games. It can be the Tono Bowl, the toe bowl. That's 10 million. Okay, NIT Sweet 64 billions of dollars. Baseball College World Series billions of dollars. Volleyball millions of dollars. Gymnastics. High school athletes are going to four schools in 4 years. It depends on who you. Well, if you're a special talent, depends on what you doing. You might have to go through all that. He's not trying to go out like Brady. He's trying to go out like Brett Favre. There's no Tom Brady comparison with that. It's more like Brett Favre. If he's even thinking about going to Minnesota, that's Brett Favre. And he doesn't have the Brett Favre reach with that, and it's not going to end well. Um, some guys are going to be able to go to multiple schools. That's how the system's set up. Everybody trying to get to a top tier school. Brady wanted to win, and Brady went where he could win. There's the difference. Nobody saw Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets and winning. They were the Lulu. Nobody sees him trying to go to Pittsburgh and going to win. They the Lulu. Nobody gonna see him go to Minnesota and think he's gonna win. They the Lulu. Maybe if he got to the 49ers, but then again, Kyle Shanahan shenanigans will mess that up. So it's not gonna happen. He's wasting people's time and energy and money. It's not going to happen. Please continue to hit those likes. Hit this poll question up. Feel free. If you're out there watching, come on through. Don't be afraid. Yeah, Aaron is just, like I said, I think he's just going through the motions. Well, you do know that there is a mutual interest, right? You do know, right? You ever heard of a guy named James Dolan? Madison Square Garden? Money? Okay. He's not going to waste his. First of all, listen, as bad as Dak Prescott is, he's still better than Aaron Rodgers. Come on now. So that's not going to happen. Aaron Rodgers is shot and down. You know, his career shot down. It's not going to come up. He's washed. His game is washed. No one is going to, not even as a, because he's not gonna back up, and he ain't gonna come and take the job. So he's washed. So that's what you mean for real. What you mean when you say at New York, Madison Square Garden, James Dolan is a businessman. Vince McMahon's a businessman. Vince had business in MSG. They're very two polarizing individuals. Same political agenda. Same maneuvering. You think that's coincidence or fate? That's all I'm trying to say. You maybe thought that when you said that I was gonna have a deep thought and it's gonna take me a while to put it together. Now I know exactly why they there and what goes on with that. That's one of the reasons why I don't talk about the Knicks because I can't stand him and stuck with Tibbs who's gonna try to hurt everybody they bring in and their self destructive ways. I am going to tell you a story. If Dolan was to sell ownership of that team and they had anybody that was legit and likable, you'd see more stars going there. Because a lot of people want to go to the Knicks, but they're not going to go there because of him. And some of them ain't gonna forget what happened with Charles Oakley. Some ain't gonna be forget his beady ways and his generic ways. That's what's holding them up. Because they got that thing with Brunson was lightning in the bowl. They didn't see that, and then it could get the cat. But how sell tickets? How Aaron Rodgers is a spectacle? Is a pinata? What is a pinata? Not as selling as no winning nothing. Not at this stage. If he went to Dallas, he'd be a pinata because he'd get hit. He pulling that D'Antoni mess, and you see how it's turning out. He trying to pull that 7 man rotation mess, and you see how it's turning out. Got Jalen Hurt up there lying. Hurt up there talking about Josh Hart up talking about. Oh yeah, we good. We play enough. We good. I saw Josh Hart up there lying. Do I work? Do I overwork you? Josh Hart like, no boss, no massa, no boss. I'm like, man, if Brunson goes down, kind of like what you did with Derrick Rose, you ain't changed in 10 years. You never need another job because you done ran yourself through 3 places by doing meathead antics. Didn't work in Chicago, don't work in Minnesota when things don't work in New York. And the thing is this, no one is talking about the Knicks because they're not even seen as a threat. They're the third seed. People would usually be hollering and happy. No one see it's like Boston, Cleveland, and then there's New York. And that third to second to first is like night and day because of his antics. And they don't play no defense and they get torn out and worn out. So that's what's up. Charles Woodson, Desmond Howard come to mind. Drew Hansen was bad before Brady blew up. Um, Tim Buckatuka, that was back in the 90s. The running back was bad. Um, Quite a few. Quite a few. This Charles Woodson was one. Yeah, Henning was cool for his time, but Woodson was everlasting. Brady, we didn't know was gonna be like that. So he better be built for the playoffs. Because if he ain't built for the playoffs, they but gonna have a short stay. Braylon was nice, and I liked him with the Jets for a moment. He was nice. I don't know how Cat's gonna be built because they got their hands full with Detroit. I like Mike Hart. Yeah, Mike Hart was good. Mm-hmm. He was good. It's very seldom ever I get asked about the players that play for the Wolverines, but that's cool. Well, I hope he will. Because if he don't, they in trouble. They in trouble anyway. No one's taking the Knicks serious. They might get around, and that's about it. Somebody gonna get hurt. Tears gonna get ejected, and they gonna get their butts clapped a couple of times, and that's it. Where'd you read that at? I mean, it could work, but it doesn't mean they're gonna win. It could work, you know. They trying to get anybody they can get to beat Kansas City, but I don't know who cares. You live in Ohio, maybe you care. No, we don't care. You gonna sign a big old bag to stay in that doldrums or the whack butt team where your career sacks is what your quarterback throws for yards in the game. That's what it is. You just stat padding a career where you could have gone somewhere and been seen and heard. I'm not impressed. Stay right there in Cleveland. Keep catching L's. Keep catching L's. Let me see something real quick. All right. Please keep on hitting that poll question and hit them likes. And if you're coming in, feel free to come on in and hit in and conversate. We've been here for a minute. Pretty lively tonight. Yeah. Okay. All right. Where everybody go? It's one of them situations where you should win this series, but it could be problematic. You better hope. What I seen the last few games, it was a fluke. And what I mean by that is Rudy Gobert, because Rudy been hanging on rims lately. If Rudy Gobert scores anything of double digits and can Jarvis hate and can be a problem in the paint, y'all could be in trouble. So you better hope. Win clutch in the finals. What's up, Jay Will? Sometimes it be on, sometimes it don't. Thank you for coming through. What's up? How you doing? He wasn't clutching the finals against Boston, and he had deteriorated enough where they wanted him gone. So I don't know how clutch he is. He's a very good player, an offensive dude, but he's streaky. But they got to get by Minnesota first. I don't know. Probably. I don't think you should say anything. We knew you wanted him gone. I'm like this. You ain't got to say a word. Okay, Shannon Sharp. Um, you really ain't got to say a word. Most times people don't. There's nothing to explain. I get you wanting him gone, and I understand why you want him gone. I just think that you could have probably got a little bit more for him, but I get why you want him gone. So it's a lot of people coming at Nico Harrison, but it was actually the upper process who wanted it gone. This was a strictly up in the, you know. So I think if the Timberwolves can pull it off, it goes seven. Yeah, he's exempt. Well, they probably didn't think that you know, I don't know, but I understand why they got rid of him. I can understand it because he cry and moan all the time. I know. I seen her too. She been around for a moment. I seen her. They be coming to NBA games. Ain't no where he's at. I got a feeling he got a chance to go off in that series though. Yeah. The best coach leading to the playoffs. That's a great question. Joe Mazzulla. Joe, the NBA winning the world champion. Because no one talks about Joe Mazzulla. I'm the only person that you're gonna see usually that's a non-Celtic fan that also does a live stream that does videos that talks about Joe Mazzulla. Look it up. It's no boast or brag. It's a fact. No, not even close. The only thing that he's done well is that the offense runs better in spurts. But when they don't hit, they're kind of stagnant. Rui's got to be big. Luca's got to hit that shot. LeBron's got to, and then Reeves, and they got to have all the cylinders. I didn't say they couldn't. But you asked the question. See, don't ask me a question you don't want me to give the answer you don't want. You asked who I thought was the best coach going to the playoffs. I said Joe Mazzulla. They make adjustments. They win at home. They went on the road. I already said that Tatum and Brown are two of the 15 best players. No one, they're not oversaturated in your ear for 5 games. Six if Boston takes the feet off the gas, but Boston's going to tear their behind up. The Magic are got a slow pace. They really don't have a cohesiveness about them. Not that I've seen. Oh, they better than what they better than they record. They not they shouldn't be a 41-41 team if you want to know the truth because injuries, maturation aside, they should be better, but they're not Boston better. That's the gap and the tears. That's why you end up where you do. If they had their hands on a guy that could create with Paul Bangeras, like they could have Pablo playing like, and they could off. They mix their tempo up. They too slow. They are flying under the radar because I've as long as I've been watching basketball, Celtic people be all in your face, all in your ears, and this is the quietest I've ever seen a Celtic team that's won and going to repeat, and it's like anticlimactic. It's crazy, which could be a good thing. Mm. Let's see. I'll be on for. I got 20 more minutes, so we got 20 more minutes. I think I'll be on for 20 more because he couldn't think of anything to say. I mean, what's he gonna say to a man that's won and been successful? And the reason why he ain't gonna diss him is because the Zeke sucks up to him and says that he's better than Jordan. That's why he ain't gonna say nothing. That's the reason. Believe me, if Zeke used common sense and said you barely top 10 and you're never gonna be in Jordan's stratosphere, he would have a mouthful to say. But because Zeke kissed up to him, he ain't got nothing to say. I already know. Shoot. My mind stays sharp on these things. I don't do videos on them, but if you come live and we meet live and you bring it up, I'll hit you. I'll meet you at the intersection. I already know. LeBron thinks these things through. Because old fat boy has been eating them big dinners at them ES Pound compounds, and so he don't need him no more. And he don't have to leak stuff to Wendy no more. He used to have stuff to get leaked. Because that's what Wendy really is. It's just basically like TMZ in it. He goes and get leaks. He's a leaker, and so he drops the chi on stuff and talk whispers, and it goes around. Wendy don't do that no more. Wendy got paid and got fed and is treated like he's an analyst. And he got a job now where he don't have to sit there and because he knows that life's gonna go on past LeBron. So LeBron is just tweaking about it. Yeah, he was because he wants him to report the good stuff. He wants him to say, make it all about LeBron. I told you it's like a fairy tale. Yeah, well, Rick Beaker was right because Wendy was just doing his job. See, this is the problem with your LeBroners. Ever since he got a little podcast and got a camera and the clutch sports and they get in the media, he thinks he can do what these cats do. No, you play ball. You're out your jurisdiction. You can't control the narrative. You can maybe say that somebody says something wrong, but you can't stop the narrative. And you can't talk about the past and displace it and not have people call your butt out on it. They will. Now, let me tell you like this, be excited. I like Steph, as everybody knows. I'm glad to see Jimmy Butler doing good. They not taking nothing off. They won't make it past the second round if they get past the first. There's nothing about them that I see on the sneak up like 2022. They're not sneaking nobody like that. They can be dangerous, but they too eventually they lighten the cakes and they gonna get bumped. Draymond will do something dumb, and if Jimmy Butler has an off game or two, this ain't 10 years ago. They got hot a few years ago because they got Wiggins and Clay came back and they played. You know, they were able. They everything kind of flowed their way. Too many things would have to align this year. I just don't see it. Yeah, but the difference was Clay was there. Andrew Wiggins was hungry. Everything fit. The squad isn't quite as coherent. Yeah, but that was 3 years ago. Think about it. They had to do all that to beat a Memphis team. Think about it. They only won that game by five. It don't get no easier. I think if they had one more piece with those two, they could be a problem. And I think Steph would definitely get another ring or two with one more piece. What about playoffs, Jimmy? I've seen it, but he ain't won nothing. He's gotten to the finals twice. But now he got a chance to team up with an alpha, so maybe now he'll play his role. We'll see. What you want, a cookie? Who did they beat? I mean, beating Sacramento in a playing term ain't exactly like pounding your chest like you're King Kong. I'm sorry. And Clay doesn't have those kind of games the normally. So before you get excited, how many more of those games can he have in him in the postseason? If they beat Memphis, how many more does he got left? Makes him top five because then he will have one with different sets of teammates, and then he's almost like Ice Cube was in the movies when Kevin Hart was sitting in the passenger side, when Mike Epps was in the passenger side, when Chris Tucker was in the passenger. That's what ends up happening. It's just like this guy, you can put him with anybody. He wins. And he will be in my top five if he wins. I will say that. I will debate anybody then because you him winning a fifth ring with what he's accomplished and what he's changed the game and the styles, and to go from an extreme, nothing. Nothing. So don't start. It means nothing. Absolutely not a thing. Not a thing. Just for his ego and his mouth. Doesn't mean nothing. If you're a Warriors fan and you like Draymond, but for us mere mortals out here, nothing. What you think I'm gonna sit here and tell you something crazy like, oh yeah, he's up there with Dennis Rodman? No. kind of like more lucky than good because he was dead in the water until they got Jimmy Butler. He like he was about to sink. He looked like his, it kind of was fading. He got he got fortunate. No, he has a great track record, but I can't. I still got question marks about him as a coach. And I think that when Curry's done, he'll probably be done too. I can't imagine him lasting for longer than the day. He's not Pat Riley though, and Pat Riley did it in three different places. Lost with LA, lost with New York, but he did it in different places. There's not, yeah, he's not gonna be in that class though for me. He's not with Pat Riley, Popovich, and Phil and Red Auerbach. Not to me, he's not. Now I'll tell you what. Let him. Let's see what happens a post Steph Curry era 4 or 5 years later, and he can build up another squad like that success. Then we can come back and revisit it. But right now, he's just a product of having the right people at the right time. I don't see him much as a coach. Okay, we got 13 more minutes before I got to roll. It was a great story of destiny when they made the move from Stan Van Gundy to Pat Riley. And Shaq had said it. D Wade had said it. They got Alonzo Mourning in the back. They got Gary Payton. They got White Chocolate. Got Jason Williams in. It was big. They lost the 04-05 team, I believe, would have gone to the finals if not for D Wade and Shaq getting hurt. So they finished what they started. And then to win the chip, play a certain way, hit big shots, it was big. No, it wasn't. Because there's a few factors at work. He needed to prove that he could win in a post LA. Shaq needed to prove he could win in a post LA. And he liked Dwayne Wade a lot. So there you go. And Stan Van Gundy wasn't getting the job done. So he yanked him. And he's like, I like you, but I don't love you. And you ain't going to be here enough to pull what you're pulling. We got to win now. So that's what happened. They were just going to be happy. Yeah, James Posey was the Robert Ory of his era for a window. Him and Eddie House were like Robert Ory clones for a moment. So, and everything came together. But it was a 1 year wonder team, though. It wasn't going to last. Shaq was starting to fall apart. Gary Payton was old. Jason Williams was on the end. And Lonzo was about done, too. So they got just enough at the right time to get that run. And they also got Antonio Walker. I ain't giving him nothing because of the way he did Jason Tatum. I ain't giving him nothing because they mad at him, too. I was happy for Gary to play with someone that could get him there because after he stunk it up in LA, he had no business being in the triangle offense as a starting point guard, maybe off the bench. See, this is why when you cats ask me about how I feel about drafts and all this, and I keep telling you, depends on where you go, what your system, what your style is. Gary Payton is a better point guard than Derek Fisher, Sunday through Monday and back and forth. But on the Los Angeles Lakers, he was not a good fit. He liked the low post. He liked the body, take you down. He was not a better fit than Derek Fisher. And they got beat at the guard spot because Chauncey Billups clocked Gary Payton. Read the differential in the points. remember. That was it in the series. That was really the series right there. They had no answer for Chauncey backing him up, wore him out. And Gary's one of the best defensive point guards. That's why he still rants about when he went against Jordan. He can't say nothing about Chauncey though, because he got his butt clocked. So when he played with Pat Riley, it worked more in his favor. They had more options, more movement. It worked in their favor. But he's battle tested. You know, here they are, the favorites to win again. So I don't know how much battle tested you're gonna want because the Cats been to many Eastern Conference Finals. They've been an example of they've had a great successes. I'm not the biggest Jason Tatum fan, but I'm not gonna listen. All it takes is for him, that is the craziest story too. But that's another video. Well, because Matt went out like a buster. But you remember about Derek Fisher being a coach, so I don't care. You don't let Derek Fisher coach nothing. That's what happened with Tim Hardaway Jr. He's over there supposed to be designing plays. He was designing his make on her. That's how the story goes. So I don't know about him being no coach. Be pimping. He stunk with the Knicks too. That's why he stunk. He was so busy macking. He took the only road he could take because he likes that limelight. And plus, that's how he probably snatched her too. Because Matt likes that limelight. Okay, we got about anything that moves. His reputation predates him, so when I heard that story about Tim Hardaway Jr., I said, "This dog. I mean, he is a dog." I had a former coworker went to certain Central Arkansas with him, so she was telling me about how he got down. So it's not no surprise about Fish. He tries to come off like he's cosmopolitan and real low key and suave. He be macking though. He did look pretty good with OKC his last year though when he retired. I still remember when he was in Utah. She told me. I got OKC coming. That's a fact. Mm, if Kawhi Leonard is healthy, nobody wants to deal with them. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. In the East, it's got to be Boston, Cleveland, because there's nothing else. Nothing else really even. There's no Cinderellas. There's nothing unless someone gets hurt or someone does something stupid. It's Cleveland, Boston in the East. They're the best two teams, and then OKC, and then whoever else. So that's how I look at it. It's pretty self-explanatory to me. Best teams are in the East. If they fade, then expect them to make a big move in the off season because they about almost there. And the only thing they would need would be like a running cat who could just score like crazy. This is very telling because Jokic is playing for his legacy right now. He wants to move past the table with Hakeem and Moses and get to the main four table. This is where he starts to make that mark. They can go all the way. They should go all the way because pound for pound, he's the best player in the NBA and in the West. But if they don't get going, it's his fault. It's all on him. And If he doesn't see he gonna win another ring or two in the next year or two, then yeah, because he's gonna get all that stat padding, but he ain't gonna get no dubs, and people are gonna start to question how great he really was. So he's got a lot to think about. I mean, if I was in his shoes, I might strongly consider that, and I wouldn't be surprised because the NBA wants him gone out of Denver anyway. That Luca going to LA wasn't by accident. You're going to see more moves. Don't be surprised if Zion Williamson goes to New York. Don't be surprised if John Morant going to a big city. There's going to be some more moves coming because everybody's expendable. If he came to Miami, they would have to go get a point guard. They'd have to change everything, and they would. They had to fire Malone. They weren't winning, and Jokic knew they weren't winning with Malone. They were standing pat. And you see, that's what we talk about Jeff Fisher Price. Like cats used to win a ring or go to a finals and sit there for 20 years and be happy. Well, they cats ain't doing that no more because you got to win. Oh, that with Udoka as his coach, with Jalen Green, and oh, then he will be at the table with Shaq, Kobe, and Kareem and Russell. Because a coach like Udoka and the right guards and the toughness and the balance and the guys can score, that's what they're missing. You put him with Jalen Green and Van Fleet, Dylan Brooks, they're gonna own the West. They will own the West. No one's gonna beat that. Not with that style. That's a good call. It ain't gonna happen, but that's a good call though. Too much clutter. Giannis ain't a better pure. And see, the problem is that who's gonna the post and the repost. Did Boston not get to the finals a few years ago? You know they lost to Golden State. How's that barked and bite? How is it? He did take that same squad to the finals. He did take a Rockets team that was 41-41 last year, and now they're second in the East. So how is that more bark than bite? I think when you speak on something, please make sure you back up your facts before you start dissing somebody because that team has not regressed. They've actually gotten better. They're flying on the radar because they're young and no one takes them serious. But that's coaching. That's coaching right there. And they got young talent. So that's hardly barked and bite. That guy's got that team progressive. I wouldn't like Jokic in Milwaukee because they got Brook Lopez. And ain't no way in the world Denver would trade Jokic and take Brook Lopez back. You know, Brook Lopez can score, and he should be a double double every night. But he ain't no Jokic. He been around 30 years and he ain't no. Jokic in Houston, I like a whole lot. That would be scary. Jokic in Miami, you have to revamp the team. You could get some pieces that would be interesting. Okay, he did. But who was the more veteran team? But do you think that would happen now? We gonna find out. I know one thing. Kerr will not coach Joe Mazzulla in the finals right now because that Boston team is grown. They 3 years removed from that. They're not the same young pups. They're more seasoned now. I'll give Kerr his due. He's a top 10 all time coach. I just don't have him in my top five. And I think that I won't really appreciate him until post Curry, and then I got to see what he can build on. Because for my money, Eric Spoelstra is just as good as Kerr. Look at it. He went to two finals without LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh with Jimmy Butler, and Bam, and Tyler Hero and them. And that man has a style about him, and that team is still tough. Kerr got way more to work with. You know, uh, I'm not blown away by him. His success is great. His actual coaching, that's another story. Okay, so I've been on an hour and a half. I think that I may or may not come back tomorrow. I don't know. Definitely nothing on Sunday. Maybe Saturday, just so I can give you a heads up. But if you cats want to come on and chat, give me a one and let me know. If you think you want to be on the next couple of days, let me know. All right, Celtics not considered the best team in the East. So uh, you say all that to say what? The Celtics are still predicted to be the team to beat in the NBA Finals. So they obviously been doing something right. I'm not gonna get into no arguments and no stew because again, like I said before, you're entitled. You don't want to. You want to be kind of biased and don't want to give it up. That's fine. But act like that man ain't had no success. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. Actually, I hope you're right because I would love to see Cleveland. And Jared Allen is the key. If he can hold the box, they could be a problem. Donovan Mitchell can come up big. They got an interesting squad. We're gonna find out what they made of. If they can come out, that would be a great story. Because in a way, Cleveland is almost like everybody's cast offs. Oh God, I gotta go. I don't want to talk about this mess. I had to deal with this cat yesterday. There's no Jimmy Butler slander. He ain't won nothing, so we'll see where he goes. People acting like Jimmy Butler been raked through the coals. Second best player on the team. I'll give you that. I'm getting ready to go in just a minute. And I know I gotta go when I start hearing Jimmy Butler people trying to apologize. But anyway, got one more minute. No, no. Anyway, I'm gonna give it a go. This didn't turn into bad comedy, and I can't because the logic ain't is gone escape. But anyway, please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments. Um, hello, NX2 Co. Uh, if I was mad, I wouldn't wish Jimmy Butler no goodwill. I'm not mad. I'm a realist about my team. You're not being real about your team. Well, first you gotta get out the first round, then the second round. When they don't be a no show and don't come back because you see, don't get scared when they don't go to the finals. I hope you're right. That would be incredible because it's not gonna happen. But I wish you were right. I wish you were. Still can't get over these people thinking that Byron Brown was right about what he said about Chris Brown. That's hilarious to me. Anyway, uh, oh, we won last night. Go fool around and probably beat Atlanta, but I don't have no expectations though. I don't. I don't like playing basketball because it's not that good. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments. Thank you for everybody that came through. Appreciate you. I might come back tomorrow, probably Saturday, not on Sunday. We'll see about about Monday, but definitely the next day or two I'll be back. So thank you for coming through. Stay safe, stay blessed. Appreciate everybody. I'm out.